What up guys, this is me, Vincent Sung, the Wandering Warrior. A lot of you guys know me as the Shuai Jiao guy, or the Kung Fu form decoder. My roots in Chinese martial arts started when I was 16. I started learning under Sifu Randy Brown, and he was teaching me the basics of mantis boxing, Tang Lang Quan. This is where it gets interesting. It was a mix of Ba Bu Tang Lang Quan, 8-step mantis boxing, and Qi Xing Tang Lang Quan, 7-star mantis boxing. Now, 7-star mantis boxing was a combination of long fist method of fighting, Chang Quan, with the trapping and clinch work that you expect in classical mantis boxing of Shandong. So it was an MMA. And as part of that package of things I learned were a bunch of forms that I later found out were associated with the Jingwu Athletic Association that had collected a bunch of northern Chinese forms together as part of their curriculum. Lianbu Quan, Gongli Quan, Tantui. And as I delved back into my earlier training, everything kept pointing back to Tantui. Tantui is really like encapsulating all of this. I've been on a quest to gradually peel back all the layers, go back through time, and really understand Tantui for what it is. I've hit up my strength and conditioning coach, also my Shuai Jiao student, and a representative of Jingwu today, Max Kyra. Let's go talk to him. So, the man himself, Max Kyra, representative of Boston Jingwu. What is Tantui?
So, I personally learn it as it's almost like an alphabet of long fist. So the way I was taught it, you learn your alphabet first, so ABC all the way through, and then you start learning your more advanced forms, and then more like sentences, paragraphs, a little bit more nuanced. But every time I come back and visit it, there's always like a little bit more that I go, oh okay, maybe there's more that I haven't thought about, or I want to brush up on a little bit more. So even though it's a basic form, it's also an advanced form. And I think that's the same in a lot of martial arts, right? Your basics and like your top end stuff, really it's just a very, very refined basic. So it's always good to come back and think about that, I find anyway, through my journey.
As far as we know, Tantui, no matter how you write it, whether it's Hong Tan or Tan as in spring, right? Tantui seems to have come from a Hui, a Chinese Muslim Hui community in Shandong, and I think it was part of a Cha-Chun sort of curriculum, and it was their basics, right? As we understand, at some point, a version of that got taken into Jingwu. How did that change or differ when you go from like a folky style in Shandong to this, at that time, early 1900s, this new ambitious project of Jingwu to sort of preserve but also like modernize and disseminate Chinese martial arts, right? How did that kind of change? Do we know if it's like two completely different things, or are they very similar? What are we looking at?
Well, coming from like the Muslim people, there was also like a big timeline, so from the Muslim people to the Shaolin Temple. In the Shaolin Temple, allegedly it went from just sort of the 10 roads, we got the extra 2 roads, and they also added more repetitions in it. So we did right side, left side, right side. Originally it was just right side, so it's quite a short form. For time-wise as well, it's quite good to pick something up if you're teaching a large group of people.
Right.
I personally like doing both sides. Just, like even if it's not perfect and you get 2 right sides and 1 left side, but it is what it is. I think as well when the masters of Jingwu got together as well, obviously they're all long fist guys at the time, and then obviously depending which branches, you kind of got like a different flavor and a different group of people joining up. A lot of them had Tantui or exposed to Tantui, so when they were selecting the 10 Jingwu basics, Tantui's got to be in there. It's it's in so many systems, northern and some southern as well. Especially nowadays, there's lots of different styles that kind of cross-pollinated with each other. So Yeah, I think it's a very good basic to have. There's also just a lot of like certain parts in more advanced routines where you can go, oh, this is just Tantui 5. It's just this part. So it makes teaching the more advanced stuff later down the road easier as well, if you already have that movement set.
When we talk about movement sets, we could be talking about very different things. Like most, say, Shandong or Shaolin forms are like combos, lines of combos, right? But you could also build your movement set in a much more, say, distilled fundamental way, like say Xing Yi Quan or anything related to that, like Baji Quan, Yi Quan, Liu He, right? They're kind of like, let me boil it down to like the essential or movements of this fighting, and you're going to repetitiously practice it with the best, alignment and fascial connection and all that stuff, frame, right? So there's many approaches throughout the different like Chinese cultures, essentially. What would you say Tantui's focus is? Is it more like a bunch of techniques? Is it more body method, senfa, or somewhere in between?
That's a good question. I would say it's somewhere in between. So it has like we talked about, lots of standalone techniques. Some you could argue are combinations, or you could figure out something that's very similar that you could apply it with. Yeah, definitely it helps with just like postural alignment, structural alignment. So things like basic punching. Okay, so is everything aligned correctly? Am I off balance? So I'd say it's a bit of both.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's whatever you need it to be at that time.
You've clearly gotten a lot out of the Jingwu curriculum. You've done Taolu, you've done Sanda, right? Taolu is empty hands as well as weapons. So you have personally experienced this. There seems to be a disconnect between Changquan, Taolu, like the long fist forms and all the cool stuff that it contains, all the Ti, Da, Shuai, Na, kicking, striking, wrestling, catch, right, blocking, and Sanda, which is really an awesome and brutal fight sport in the modern day. There seems to be some disconnect between this, which seems to be such an amazing body of traditional martial arts capability, knowledge, technique, and the fight sport. You've done both. What's the disconnect? How come Tantui isn't necessarily translating to fighting capability?
With Chinese martial arts, especially like modern day, you almost have, a lot of the time you'll have, certain schools will have focuses on performative Taolu and maybe just Sanda or like the combat side. And having a blend of two very well is difficult to do. So I think that is a constraint as well. So it's a time thing, right? And then on top of that, Taolu, okay, if their idea is, okay, we want to compete in Taolu and we want to be good at it and we want to make it look nice.
That's focus.
That's the laser focus, right? So and I get that as well. Of like, okay, if you've got someone you want to take to nationals, you want to take to like Pan Ams, Europeans, Worlds, like all of this stuff, they don't need to do sparring, right? They don't need to do sparring.
Right, it becomes a waste of time and potential chance of injury.
Yep. And then the other thing is as well, it's like how much do they enjoy it as well? Like for a lot of the curriculums I've done, we had to spar up until black belt. Like it was not like a non-negotiable. So for your black belt testing, we have to spar. I've also seen it where it might just be the parents are like they're not willing to get their kids to do sparring as well. Obviously, like it doesn't need to be full contact MMA, like
right, but enough to build fight attributes.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's difficult as well because you're trying to keep the martial art alive and you're trying to pass down these things. So you might only get like a few students that are willing to do both very well, and then they might not want to open a school because it's not crazy profitable, right? Right. Or they go off to university and they don't come back. So
that's another thing. A lot of people would have started quite young, if not as children, at least teenagers, and doing Taolu and drilling to mold their bodies and minds and spirit a certain way. I mean, in a way, it's practical if you've got a lot of time.
Yep.
low impact, build up their fitness, build up their coordination. By the time they're ready to learn fighting, their bodies are already fully primed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like coordination and like economy of movement. That's like the main like idea of Taolu, right? And when I've had guys I've coached guys that just do Taolu and just do kickboxing, and that intersection when they do both, if they've been doing Taolu for a long time, they just move nicer, like straight away, like that. Like you said, the coordination is better, and I'm not saying it's necessary as well, because you know, you've got boxers and kickboxers and lots of like combat sport athletes that don't do any Taolu.
Chinese cultures, Chinese civilization as a whole, firmly believes in education, and Chinese culture is very much, I don't care if you're talented, you've got to meet this standard. And when this standard is the rigors and the brutal truths of fighting, they're like, well, how am I going to prepare my student or my kid to be good enough? Not everyone is super athletic natural. Not everyone's super talented natural. Not everyone just automatically has good body mechanics, right? So Taolu is a way to kind of ensure that kind of everybody makes it. I don't want to say no child left behind, because you're trying to get rid of the other people's children, but none of your children left behind, right? And so, I mean, that's just the reality back in the day. Tantui, an amazing encapsulation of what the Northerners understood to be empty-handed fighting. So is Tantui still doing that job very well in most cases, or is it not? Did it kind of ossify, where it became really dogmatic? It has to be this way or that way. This way is right, no one else is right. Or has it kind of atrophied, where the shape is there, but it lacks the strength, it lacks the power, it lacks the substance? What's your experience with that?
Well,
and if he names any names, sorry, not sorry, man. That's, you know, get your shit right. Anyways, continue.
So, as far, if we're looking at Tantui as like, if I had students competing in Tantui, it's going to look a certain way that I know is going to be aesthetic for judges to look at. Whereas, if I had a kickboxer doing it, like, you know, so say, okay, they're training 3 times a week, 2 of the sessions they can make that are sparring, sanda focus, and they can come to one Taolu session, then I might be a little bit more relaxed with them. It's not as paramount that they have to nail every single position. I'd like them to, obviously. It depends what you're using it for.
So guys, if you are interested in Jingu Athletic Association materials, curriculum, the combination of both Taolu and Sanda, look no further.
I started Chinese martial arts when I was like 12, 13 years old. I think I was about 14, 15 when I started training in the Jingu system. My first one was a Taolu competition, and then I think I did a few smokers as well, just like club fight nights as well. So yeah, as I got older, that kind of became my full-time job back in the UK. So yeah, competed at, you know, the like national level, European level, international level, world level, and I've placed in all of them. So that's from, you know, like on the podium to first place. At all of those levels.
Hit up Max Kyra if you're interested. This guy's a wealth of knowledge, both on the martial arts that he has practiced, as well as the strength and conditioning that goes into all of that.
Yep, I didn't even mention that.
So, Olympic lifting, Westside Barbell Program, right? This guy's my strength and conditioning coach. This is the guy I vouch for. Check him out.
Yeah, and if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, you can message me, reach out to me. We have an open Suijiao club at the moment. I'm doing a small amount of Taolu with some private students at the moment as well, and some Sanda as well. So if you're interested in that, contact me. Yeah, let me know. And I look forward to meeting you all as well.
You guys know the Practical Tantui online course is a work in progress. The wait list is down below. If you like what I do, how I do things, and how I help people get even better, check that out and let me know you're interested. As always, Please like, share, subscribe. You know what you're supposed to do. Support me on Patreon if you can. We've got some weightlifting to do.
Yep.
I've got to get stronger. You guys know I'm going to be in Mongolia. Like, this ain't no joke. So, until then, thank you guys for joining me on my journey. Hasta yours. Peace.